All right, so yesterday we talked about planes, lines, and points, and we learned all about these different types of planes, lines, and points with collinear and coplanar and all that good stuff. So today what we're going to talk about is how to use those vocabulary words and what you learned yesterday. And we're going to talk about postulates, or also known as axioms. Um, and what I mean by a postulate is it's an accepted statement of fact. All right, it is something that has been proven true, and we accept it as truth without having to back it up with evidence. All right. Axiom is just another way to say postulate. Most of the time in geometry, you will see it as a postulate. All right. So we're going to talk about four different postulates today. The first one we're going to talk about is postulate 1-1, which states through any 2 points, there's exactly one line. All right, which can be demonstrated right here. So if I were to graph this line, all right, and I were to find the 2 points that, um, and I were to find 2 points on that particular line, then I could easily prove this to be true. So uh, we're going to do that right now. So in this case, we start at 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. All right. 1, 2, 3. We're going to do it one more time. All right. So we can take our line and we can create it through these 3 points. All right. And we will concentrate for this purpose of this postulate on this point and this point. So between any 2 points, there's exactly one line. There is no way to create another line between these 2 points. That is the only line that is created by those two. All right. So the next postulate we're going to be talking about is postulate 1-2. If two lines intersect, then they intersect in exactly one point. So going back to our coordinate plane, we can graph these two lines. And if you were to graph these two lines, you will find that they do in fact cross in only one spot. So let's do that real quick. One. All right. And I'm going to make the line really long just to see, um, just to make sure that it does in fact um, cross over and I'm not having to graph some more. All right. Okay, and our second line, we have y equals 3x minus 7. So we'll start at -7, and we will go up 3 and over 1. All right. So as you can see, between these two lines, it crosses over in exactly one point. And in this case, that point is 3, 2. Sorry. It is at 3, 2. So it only intersects at exactly one point. So if we were to keep these lines going on forever and ever and ever, that would be the only point that they do intersect. All right. The third postulate that we have to talk about today is postulate 1-3, which states if two planes intersect, then they intersect in exactly one line. So this is a really good picture of how this postulate works. Um, if you see the blue plane and the yellow plane is going right through it, there's only one line here where they actually intersect. Um, so if you were to take two sheets of paper and put them kind of in a T shape, you would definitely see how there's only one spot where those two pieces of paper actually come together. All right. And our last postulate is postulate 1-4, and it states through any three non-collinear points, there is exactly one plane. All right. So in this case, we have a cube. All right. So through any three non-collinear points, there's exactly one plane. So we have point B, we have point H, all right, and those are not on the same line, and point D. Now, all three of those points are not in the exact same line, all right? These two are on the same line, but H is not, okay? And what happens here is it is actually creating a plane through, diagonally through the cube. Another example of how that would work is if you had F, G, and H. And in that case, that plane would be this bottom portion right here. All right. Um, so this concludes what you need to know about postulates and the first four postulates of geometry.